All right. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into another stream. If you guys are new here in the morning, we come in, take a look at NQ price action, see what price did, and the interaction that I had between the Asia session and the London session. From there, we go in and just kind of go over a little bit of things that we are seeing there. In the evening, we come in, review the price action, see what actually happened, and see anything that we see going into the next day ported. So let's review yesterday as well. From today, we can start doing that. We'll review yesterday, just a little trade right, things that we saw, things that we didn't see, and then we'll take a look at this. You guys were also watching Trump last night. That was this. But anyways, last night, right, we had this Asia session consolidation, London session, just a little bit of like a manipulation almost is what it looked like. And then London session, so New York session, we were obviously looking for a possible reversal here. But you can see here, we had that nice manipulation to the top, a little rejection to the downside. And then as we opened up, going into that New York session, we began that run to the upside. Initial sweep here into these liquidities, didn't quite sweep that low that we were looking for. And then right at 9:30, we got that rising fix and got that continuation to the upside, targeting that level. And we had a few more others over here on the upside that we targeted. So once we swept those levels here, right, if that works, once we swept those levels, we just began to taper out here at the top. And then we had a formation of this inverse fair value gap right during the macro. So then price displaces that fair value gap, comes back to retest it, and then from there we get that nice nasty dump right to the downside, delivering to these little equal lows that we had. And these were also in OTE, so of course we saw a little bounce. Then going into that Asia session, right, now going into today, we had, what do we have overnight? We had that dump overnight. Over here you can see cleared up a lot of targets here on the downside that we were looking at actually, and then came back and retested that previous daily low, which, so this is nice. I like how many targets that we just cleared up. What is this, Thursday journal? Tomorrow is a half day, so just watch out for that on futures. And we set up that final liquidity. There we go, 23,373. Beautiful. So on here, rejection of this area. I don't know if you guys remember, or if I if it even was on stream. We're back. Anyways, here, right, coming into this VRVP, so volume range, visible profile, you can see that we had quite a bit of volume nods up here. They were quite large as well, given that we had this giant consolidation over here. Price taps into them, and we see that nice nasty rejection right off of this hourly fair value gap that we had previously mentioned. For our analysis, we start any of our analysis beginning with that higher time frame. So you can see we deliver to all of these downside targets, so we can get rid of all of that shit. Here we clear that up. We can get rid of this. We can get I'll keep those for now. So let's take a range OTE here and take a look. So this is technically a fair value gap. We could go lower, right? This is that 4 hour. We have fair value gap above. That does pose a potential for us to retest and then reject to continue lower, given that we swept that previous 4 hour low here. So let's take a look here. Let's see. Initial or overnight move to the downside, right? So looking at the 4 hour, looking at the 4 hour here, we have swept the top of the on the top side, rejected the same area of consolidation that we previously have had a solid grind grind at. So just a little bit of grinding, right? It's kind of that formation. A lot of orders are being filled, but nothing's happening really. Market's just accepting those prices and is considering that that is just kind of that point of control there at the time. So here that we have solid grind at. Currently looking at the effigy that we have formed that poses a potential retest for a continuation lower, lower here. So FVG from this fair value gap for those that are just listening, 24,124.50, and then to 23,967 to 23,967. If price does decide to reverse to the top, we would be looking for a rejection here. Still just kind of consolidating around that 1550 EMA, which is our trend indicator, right? So given that we did go above it, we saw obviously that run to the upside, pretty ruthless, and now we are dating. And now, right, that 1550 EMA, that's typically our trend indicator. So given that we are above it now, we are looking for potential continuation here, or if we get back below it, then we're looking for, obviously we're going to stick to that OTE and see below. We also have an effigy that can provide us with a bounce, or we can go a little lower into the OTE of the range that we have formed from the run to the upside. Right, that is on the 4 hour. Now let's take a look on the hourly here. On the hourly, pretty similar situation here, right? We have these fair value gaps. This one got rejected, retested. This is another area of consolidation that we can potentially come back, retest right around that 786. If not, we were kind of looking for some downside here. So on the hourly, right, given that price is below the previous daily low sweep and has come back to retest it and rejected it, we are likely looking for some lower prices here. Right, given that we booked that previous daily low, came back, retested it here during that midnight, and then saw rejection, so no continuation back above it. We are likely looking for a continuation of price into these areas somewhere, right? Prices here. We will go over those 12-hour levels here in a second. So, but right, that is potentially what we are working with here, what we were looking at, and seeing if price wants to do anything here. We have news-wise today. This is, we got average hourly earnings already came out. Unemployment rates, not for employment changes. Oh no, that's tomorrow. Unemployment claims today came out. 202 versus forecast 212, previous 211. So unemployment looks like that's going down. So that's good, I guess. Economy's doing things. Given the price is below previous daily open, let's come back to retest and rejected. We were likely looking for lower prices here. Looking inside that OT of the range, we have some nice areas. The price could potentially bounce like those previously rejected FEGs in the area of consolidation around, so area of consolidation around this around that 786. Around that 0.786 of the OT here. Alright, that's what we got here. Now, let's take a look at our 15 minutes. So, 23.73.75 12-hour. Given that we are below, we probably look for 23.520, right? That's going to be kind of that next area where we could be looking for potential rejections. We have this fair value gap on the downside. We also have this other fair value gap on the upside, right? Let me get rid of these indicators, and there we go, and show it like that. So, what is this? Thursday, we don't have anything that typically happens Thursdays. So we're going to continue to look at that fair value gap here, looking on the 15 minutes, looking on the 15, we are working with the effigy that was formed here after the bounds at, so this fair value gap. To this level. So 23,750, 23,700.50, and 23,712. So looking for price if we are looking for a reversal here. We would want to see that FEG hold and continue to the upside. Above, we are also looking at an FEG at from this, so from 23,818.50 to 23,796. Let's decide to reverse to the upside. This is an area of potential rejection here. On the 12-hour, we have displays the 23,783.75 level here, and the next one below us is 23,520. So continued rejection of this level above here could lead us to continue down into this 23,520. Right, continued rejection of the level above can lead to the retest of that lower 12-hour level. Right, and this is pretty common to how we trade, at least how I trade. So we are looking for those 12-hour rejections, right? Continuations. We are always trading from something to something. You can see that we displaced it pretty solidly on the hourly time frame, and now that does pose that potential of continuation to the downside. But then here we do have that fair value gap that could just give us that slow grind. Right over here, you saw more of like LRLR because of how tight this liquidity was. So obviously that sweep was much harder, but here this is going to be a little bit of a grind, as we do have those orders that are still not filled within it, so we need to match those. And on the 5-minute, right, let's take a look at our daily plan here. On the 5-minute, we are also below that quarterly open, so that's another thing to watch for on here. Asia expansion, London consolidation, New York likely continuation. Looking at this, so we could come back up, sweep this over here, right? According to at least that, we could come up, retest that quarterly open, maybe continue to the downside, something like that, right? So looking on the 5-minute and hour daily plan / session interaction, we noticed that price had expansion during the Asian session consolidation, and New York session is likely to continue to the downside. So this is likely to continue to the downside following the trend of the Asian session here. There is potential for price to come up and sweep the top of the London session before the reversal to the downside here. And that is pretty much all I have for today. So yeah, we're gonna watch this fair value gap, watch this London session high here. Price continues to reject these stops, right, or reject this 23,783.75 level. We could come back, sweep the top of London. If we don't see any displacement above it, right, then we're likely going to wick above it, continuation to the downside. We don't have to do that. We can even come into the OTE of that session, even if we wanted to, right? So maybe come into somewhere within here, 786, 705, resting somewhere within here above that liquidity. We do have some liquidities on the upside, right? There's this liquidity that we just swept on the downside here. So we could look for, what do we have on the upside? We have that on the upside. We have this on the upside here. Quarterly open, monthly open, right? So potential retest of that level. Maybe sweep of this over here on the session, Asia session. 15 minute. We got quite a bit of liquidity on the downside here as well that we can look at there. Outline all of these outstanding wicks that we can come down and capture. All of this came down but not sweep, so we have quite a bit of here at 23,235 if we want to continue escalating to the downside. Here's all those levels. For upside and downside in pink. And that is all we have for today. Let me see some of these, right, how we're opening up these pre-markets. I want to see how we're pre-market. Wow, I destroyed that shit. Holy shit. I guess yeah, that was that overnight dump. Getting insane. So everything's still kind of market a little uncertain. I keep getting cooked up. Target, Autodesk, AFRM, getting cooked up, AMT, BA. So everything, like we said, probably likely wait for another week until prices stabilize or until we end this fucking war. But on that will do it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. As always, make sure you go check out our website. That's www.papertraders.io. That left side of your screen if you see it. Yeah, www.papertraders.io is going to be the place to go to if you guys want to see what we're all about, what we offer, anything like that. Check out our past streams, see how we did, check out our track record, see how we've done in the past, see what we're doing in the future. Check out the Discord if you guys want to join and have a deeper analysis here within that Discord where we're providing you guys with crypto, any levels, anything like that. All of this that we covered on stream today is also written inside our Discord with all the levels that we're looking at, so that you can refer to them at any point, and then we review it. Make sure you check out Mr. Hazed at Hazed Beats and follow us on Twitter as well at The Paper Traders, and give me a follow as well if you guys enjoyed these. Give it a like, give it a share. That's the best way to support us, and we'll see you later tonight. Peace out.